What if we use the RTX 4060 to play the latest AAA games on a 1440p monitor? Because why not? Let's find out. I've paired the MSI Ventus 2X Black RTX 4060 with the Ryzen 5 7600X CPU as part of my Be Quiet PC build powered by MSI. Unfortunately, I currently don't own any normal 1440p monitors. This is an MSI OLED monitor, ultra-wide, but as you can see by the presence of these black bars on the sides, we are going to test normal 16:9 1440p resolution. If you're interested in any of the products featured in this video, including the full list of PC parts needed for this PC build, you can find them at the links in the description below. Let's start our testing with God of War Ragnarok. I think we should aim for a good experience using high graphics quality preset. Forget about Ultra because this is the RTX 4060 after all on a 1440p monitor. But to get a good understanding of what this graphics card is capable of, let's start with native 1440p resolution and then we'll start using DLSS resolution upscaling. Even at native resolution, the performance is not terrible. It is above 40 FPS. Personally, I think that we should aim for at least 55 plus FPS, ideally 60 plus, because I don't feel like 40 plus FPS is a good enough experience in this game. But what is worth noting is that this setup is extremely power efficient. The GPU uses 110 to 120 watts and the CPU 65 to 75 watts. Let's go ahead and enable resolution upscaling, DLSS quality mode. That's 950p upscaled to 1440p. And this is pretty close to what I am looking for in this game. Have a look at that performance. 60 plus FPS over here. We were getting some dips below 60 from time to time. Let's see how the game performs if we are going to engage in combat. There we go. We are experiencing dips below 60 from time to time. I think I've seen 54 just now, but as long as we're getting above 50 FPS, in my opinion, the game looks fine. The gameplay is smooth and the overall experience is enjoyable. In terms of image quality, this looks just as good as native resolution. If you'd like to see more FPS, then you could go for DLSS balanced mode. It doesn't reduce the quality by that much because with DLSS quality we were upscaling from 950p and with DLSS balanced we are upscaling from 820p. It's not a drastic change, but we are getting a little bit more performance out of it. So let's see if we are going to experience the same drops. No. We are not seeing any drops below 60 so far. Let's use the same weapons. Same place. 63, 61. Yeah, you see, now we are not experiencing any dips below 60. And the game still looks fine. There's no issues in terms of image quality. If I'm pixel pipping, I can definitely see the difference between DLSS quality and DLSS balanced. We look at finer details such as grass, but the thing is that you have to really stop and look for it. And because we're playing this game on such a cheap GPU, the RTX 4060, I can forgive that. But if you want to keep using DLSS quality, then you'll have to reduce graphics quality settings. Let's set it to medium and see what happens. The game still looks presentable, and we are getting the benefits of not having to deal with DLSS balanced. And the performance is great, well above 60 FPS. I'm curious how the game will perform at medium graphics quality preset and native resolution, so no DLSS resolution upscaling. We're not quite getting that 60 plus FPS experience anymore. Yeah, this is not to my liking. I just don't like seeing performance drop below 50, and sometimes it does. If it's 55 FPS, I don't mind, but if it drops to around 53, 51, I start noticing. This is still perfectly acceptable experience, but personally I prefer using DLSS balanced and having well above 60 FPS at higher graphics quality than looking at lower graphics quality at native resolution. Next up is Black Myth Wukong. This game was built in Unreal Engine 5 and it is GPU demanding. So I'll be very surprised if we can get it to work on high graphics quality preset. Let's forget about cinematic graphics quality, that is the maximum graphics quality available, and I don't think we can get away with playing on very high either. Let's stick to high. And to start with, let's check out native resolution, so resolution upscaling is not enabled right now. We are already getting 40 plus FPS, but I definitely want to see 60 plus FPS in this game, or at least above 55 at all times. So let's go ahead and enable DLSS quality mode. For that, in this game you have to select 68% super resolution. And this is close to what we are looking for. We are getting dips below 60 from time to time, 58 now. But let's see how bad will it get if we begin fighting. Not too bad. Let's transform. 51, 55 FPS. But generally we're staying close to 60. The experience is pretty pleasant and the graphics quality is fine. Although in motion, if you are looking at very fine details such as those pine trees, the foliage, it does get a little bit, it gets a little bit unpleasant. But I wonder, is it because of DLSS or is it the same at native resolution as well? Let's see, let's set native back on, and yeah, the same problem persists even at native resolution. Not to the same extent, but it is still present. So it appears that in this particular game and with those particular graphics assets, it's just unavoidable. That is at 1440p, because if you're using a 4K monitor, that issue is close to non-existent. It just tells me that in this particular game you have to have a really high resolution to get rid of all those issues with finer details. But if you're looking at the world over here, the rest of the assets look fine. Let's see how the game performs on DLSS balanced mode. That's 58% resolution scaling. The performance appears to be more stable. We are not getting any drops below 60 yet. If you want a good experience, then this is the way to go, because in terms of image quality, it's similar to DLSS quality, just a little bit worse. But if you're just focusing on the combat, then it's fine. You're not going to notice any differences. But what you will notice is the responsiveness of the game, because higher FPS means lower latency and more precise controls and dodging. Another way we could improve performance is by reducing graphics quality. Let's set it to medium and go back to native resolution. The game still looks good on medium, and we've reclaimed quite a bit of performance. Check this out. Native resolution 1440p, 50 plus FPS. Not bad, not bad. But let's improve it even further and use DLSS quality mode. That's 68%. Let's go. Oh, check this out. 70 plus FPS. And the image fluidity is very nice. I mean, if you have a high refresh rate monitor that is capable of showing you more than 60 Hz, then it is definitely worth checking out 60 plus FPS experience. And if you can get to 90 plus, then it's even better. The controls feel more responsive, the dodging feels more responsive. It's just a pleasure to play. And even during combat, we are not getting any dips below 70, it appears. Let's run around and see if I can find an area where the FPS will drop to 60 plus. No, it stays above 70 pretty much all the way. And if you want to improve image fluidity, you can always use frame generation, at least in this game, because we were using just above 6 gigabytes of memory, so we should have enough for frame generation to work, because it does require extra video memory to operate. Oh, check this out. We're now getting 90 plus FPS, and this is exactly what I was talking about. The image fluidity feels so nice. And because we have high baseline FPS, controls latency is not an issue at all. We're getting best of both worlds. Don't forget that frame generation technology is not built to improve your performance, it is built to uplift your experience. So once you have 60 plus FPS, you can enable it and enjoy your games more. Enabling frame generation when you have 30 FPS or so is just not the way to go. Lastly, let's take a look at Space Marine 2. Let's aim for a good experience using high graphics quality preset. Ultra is just too much for an 8GB graphics card to handle. The game is warning us that there's not enough memory. So let's stick to high graphics quality preset. And at the moment we are at native 1440p resolution, and later we'll enable DLSS. The performance is not ideal. We're getting 40 plus FPS in the starting area. Yeah, I think we should adjust the settings right away to make sure that we are getting at least close to 60 FPS. It's time to enable DLSS. Let's set it to quality mode. Whoa, that gave us a lot of FPS, check it out. Same location, 70 plus FPS now. That's additional 30-ish FPS. And the image quality pretty much stays the same. I can't see any difference with the naked eye. Check this out, we are in an area with a lot of vegetation, which in my experience is like the worst case scenario in this game. And we're still getting well above 60 FPS. 70 plus actually. And even during combat, we are not experiencing that many dips below 60. I've seen 58 just then, but that's normal. This game is extremely CPU demanding, so that Ryzen 5 7600X is working overtime. Although it's strange how the CPU load is not as high, but I'm telling you, even my i7 14700KF is not doing so great in this game. This is a great experience. I would just keep playing the game like this. I don't see any reason to even adjust the settings further. This is a perfectly enjoyable experience. But if we want more FPS, then we could lower DLSS quality to balanced. That gives us a little bit more extra room to breathe in those difficult to render scenes. Honestly, either option is pretty good, DLSS quality or DLSS balanced. Both options feel fine to me. Oh, look at this! That's a huge horde of enemies. And we've seen that FPS drop to 56, 53, 54. Yeah, this is exactly why you need more FPS in this game, because once you encounter something like this, that's when you need that extra performance. And even without enemies, this area right here is demanding. Take a look at this, 56 FPS, 55. Yeah. Oh, look at that. So many enemies. 51 FPS. Oh my god. Let's go. Let's freaking go. I'm dead. I think that experience was pretty good. We were on a high graphics quality preset this whole time. Let's set it to medium and see what we can do with that. And we'll go back to native resolution. Oh my. 30 plus FPS. This is not the way to go. Even on medium graphics quality preset, it's pretty much impossible to have a good time without the help of DLSS. So we'll have to adjust DLSS. Let's set it to quality mode, and right away we've changed it for the better. Have a look. 50 plus FPS, even in such a extremely demanding scene. Let's adjust DLSS, set it to balanced, 66, 61, but we're still getting dips below 60 from time to time, because there's quite a lot of enemies. Here, catch a grenade. Finally, this thing is down. Let's take it out. It seems like even if you're using medium graphics quality preset, it's still better to use DLSS balanced mode if you want a more consistent experience, more fluid experience, and I think this game calls for it. You can't just enjoy 40 plus FPS. It is a little bit too choppy for my liking, and even 50 plus, it does get kind of annoying. But when you are getting 60, 70 plus FPS in normal scenes like this one here, and you're getting something like 55, 56 during the most intensive combat scenes, then it feels great. In conclusion, the RTX 4060 is a viable solution to play games on a 1440p monitor. Thanks to DLSS resolution upscaling, even this little guy can handle games such as Wukong and Warhammer Space Marine 2. I think this is a pretty good setup. I can recommend it, and if you're looking for PC parts to build this kind of PC and for a good 1440p monitor, then check out my recommendations list in the description below. There are Amazon links there, so you can check out the prices as well. Let me know in the comments what you think about this setup. And don't forget to leave a like if you enjoyed this video, that helps out a lot. And subscribe for more if you haven't already. It was I, Vadim. Until next time.